What's going on, guys? Occasional Gamer here. This is the second time recording a second episode because I was about to upload the second one and I didn't like it. I went to the moon and I did come back and it was a good episode, but I read some of the comments. Well, there was like 3 comments, so some meaning all of them. But I read the comments, and one of them by S Jake Dude, he's my best friend outside of YouTube. I've known him since kindergarten. He said, I didn't understand what you were doing because I don't know, I'm not familiar with the game. I'm gonna fix that. We're going to quickly do a sort of flight where I explain everything, and hopefully it's not too long. I will cut out sections, but you know, whatever. So this tracking station, this is where I go to look at all my flights in progress. There should be a flag. I planted one on the moon, but for some reason it didn't save, which is dumb. I don't know, it's weird. But then I have the vehicle assembly building where I build the rockets, the space plane hangar where I build space planes. I might get into that. I don't really like them. It's a little confusing to understand. The astronaut complex where I can grab more Kermans when I eventually kill these. This is only in career mode, so we don't have to worry about that. And this is the launch pad. I can just, and the runway, I can just launch rockets right from there. So that is the basic base. Now I'm going to jump to the vehicle assembly center, and this is the I guess command capsule section where you can pick things to control your rocket. All of these are manned, all of these are unmanned, and this is for outside of your ship to control things from the outside. This is engines, fuel tanks, all that good stuff. This is to help stabilize your craft. This is for your structural stability of the craft with things like decouplers, which I'll get into in a little bit. Aerodynamic, self-explanatory. I hope you know what aerodynamics are. Utility, these are batteries, solar panels, smaller engines for wheels for rovers, ladders, all that stuff. And then science, this is mainly for campaign mode. I could put these things on, but I mean, there isn't really a point other than to make it look legit because I'm not playing campaign mode, which I'm thinking I'm going to start a campaign mode eventually. So maybe like 2 more episodes of this and then we'll hop right into campaign mode, which would be really cool. So I'm going to start off by loading my Orion 1 and explaining what some of the stuff is. So these are boosters. These are solid fuel boosters. I cannot control their speed. They will just burn for a set amount of time. It actually says where in the propulsion. These burn for... maybe it doesn't say. I thought it did. Nope, doesn't. Alright. Well, anyway. These burn for a good amount of time to get us up pretty high, and then we use our main engines, which are these right here. They are the most powerful engines you can get for these types of fuel tanks. Let's see. There's 6 of them, and I use asparagus staging. That is something that is used in the real area, and basically what it does is the 2 outer fuel tanks here and here will drain their fuel into this one, and these will drain their fuel into this one, and then these drain their fuel into the center. So the way it works is it's very efficient. Each fuel tank has its own thing, and you'll see when I launch the rocket what happens. We're just going to launch this one. And I have a double extra fuel tank there. These are struts to keep it more stable. That's all it is. These are all nose cones to make it more aerodynamic. That's what this does. And the other stuff is all for space planes. Then I have this engine, which I am going to probably change right now because I was looking at the ISP in vacuum, and it's 390 And this is 800, which is way better. So we're going to do that really quick. Hopefully it doesn't lose all of the struts I put on. That would suck. It doesn't. Alright, cool. So now that's there, and it's a very pointy rocket. So then that goes into this, which is a smaller engine, and we're going to add another fuel tank onto there. We'll make it a small one. Oh, sorry. And we'll have that be that engine because it will probably need to be able to lift off of something. Now, when I made my moon lander, it was essentially this, but with landing legs. And yeah, that was it. I could load that one up really quickly right after. So there's that nuclear engine. And you can see the nuclear engine is extremely not powerful at sea level, 220, but it is very good in space. So that's why it's good to have. The ladders and batteries and solar panels keep my electricity up, which powers my SAS, which is the stability you saw in the first episode. Now, let's get into staging. I already talked about asparagus staging, and there are all radial decouplers, which mean that when I press spacebar to stage, the whole outer ring will pop off due to these. And the struts pop off with staging, so you don't have to worry about them, which is nice. And then on the inside there is more radial decouplers, you just can't see them. Oh, you can right there. Those. So let me get out of here. Okay, and so all of these will go, so there's just this one long rocket left. And then when that runs out of fuel, this decoupler, which separates rockets, will separate this whole bottom thing, which will only be this one thin rocket when we're in space, will separate and activate the nuclear engine, which is powered by these fuel tanks right here. And then when that runs out of fuel, it will be powered by, or when all of this runs out of fuel, this will decouple, and this engine will kick in. And then when I'm re-entering Earth, I can either leave this all in one piece, but eventually I'm going to have to deploy my parachute, and I do not believe that it is strong enough for all of this, so I would decouple this and land with just my module. These are solar panels. This is for the chatter mod. Don't worry about that. I'm going to put those on every single one. Or maybe not. I don't know. And then this is a parachute. This is the command pod. This is the one-man command pod, and there are... It doesn't say how many in each one, but they can hold a pretty decent amount of people, I believe. This one holds a single person. This one holds 2. This one holds 3. This is 2, I believe. This is 1, I think. I don't know what that is. And this is 4. So this is all, it's all really, once you understand it, it's very simple. So now we are going to quickly load up the moon lander so you can see what I did with that one. And so I can switch an engine out actually, because I want to, yeah, hold on. So it wasn't working, so I had to add all of that stuff, so we're going to lower those down a lot. Hopefully that's not too low. It is too low. We'll raise it up a bit. Right there. Okay. Yeah. It's still too high. Okay. We'll do 2 mouse scrolls. 1, 2. Perfect. Alright. So all these do is hold it. That's this stage. So when I press spacebar, the boosters will all ignite. Then when I press it again, those will all go off. Just so it builds up a little bit of momentum before it actually goes. Because it'll be struggling to move. And I want to change out this engine again. Don't worry. Put that. And nuclear engine. Alright. Although it might be in the ground, it is, yeah. I'll have to do a couple of scrolls. 1, 2, 3. Is that good? Barely. We'll do 2 more. Alright, that should be good. So here you can see the lander legs, the ladder, It's essentially the same exact thing. Yep. Alright. So, now that you know how to do all of that, we will go to the launch pad with Orion 1. So we cannot land on the moon. And I guess I could do the same thing with this because for some reason the other one kept exploding on the launch pad. So we'll see how low that is. Okay, that's perfect. Structural... No, it's utility. Nope, it is structural. I second guess myself. Symmetry. And right there. Okay. That's perfect. Save that. Launch. So all we're going to do in this episode is go into orbit again, and I will explain everything a bit more this time. So, this is the Navball. Oh, I'm going to have to double tap spacebar really quick. I'll just do this. Alright. This is the chatter mod, don't worry about the microphone. This is Jebediah Kerman, the pilot, who is sitting in the top of the thing. SAS stabilizes the ship. Resources. My electricity is already running down because I'm using SAS. We'll have to get up there fast and deploy our solar panels. Anyway. So, this is my relative surface velocity. This is my relative vertical velocity. I don't have any lights or gears or brakes, so I don't worry about that. Abort button doesn't really work, I don't think. I've pressed it a few times, nothing's happened. This is our height, 96 meters, and this is our orientation, like I said. And we will now launch up and away. Turn that down. Now, I turned the engine volume all the way down to 1%, and it's still very loud, so you're going to have to deal with me here. Hopefully you can still hear me. I'll try to talk as loud as possible. So what we're doing is going up, and we want to get to about 13,000 meters, which is out of the, I guess, Earth's heaviest atmosphere. And then we can start our gravity burn, which leads us into orbit. At least that's the way I've learned it. People do it differently, and they do it better than I do, so I probably should learn the way they do it. But I do it my way, whatever. Now, we are about to lose our boosters, so I'm going to throttle up. And right when they're about to run out, press space to ignite our other engines. And it will be a quick course correction due to SAS. And we will stabilize ourselves, and we'll be good to go. And we're going to try to keep our velocity under 200 meters per second for the heavier atmospheres, so we don't waste as much fuel. Be as efficient as possible, and we can get very far with these engines. The goal is to have them out off of your craft by orbit, but if you still have them, it is very helpful because you can go greater distances with them on, even though we're just going to orbit. I might as well. I just cut my engines by accident instead of separating the stages. Okay, that was a little clumsy. But you can see now I have full fuel tanks, and it's time for a gravity burn. So we'll tilt our ship over just a little bit, probably to right about the 60-degree mark. Right about there. Alright. So now we wait. We can go to the map view and look at our apoapsis, which is our peak of our flight currently. And as long as that is above 70,000 meters, we are out of Earth's atmosphere. So if I go back to this, you can see we are gaining velocity, and we're not even fully throttled. So if I fully throttle up, we'll start gaining more, but that's not important. We're going to line up on our prograde marker to hopefully get our orbit higher. And we are about to lose another pair of them, but you can see this is climbing nice and steady. So the whole object to get into orbit is, hold on, let me separate these. The whole object to get into orbit is to burn at your apoapsis to make it circular. And you do that by burning at prograde, which is this. Prograde is the direction your rocket is currently headed in. And retrograde is the direction your rocket is the opposite direction of your rocket is headed in. Sorry, can't speak. So now looking at that, we can start to shift over even more. And Our apoapsis is slowly climbing still. I might turn back up a little bit to try to get it a bit higher, a bit faster. And, okay, yeah, that's better. So, that's going. We're good. Now we'll switch back to the rocket. I'm first, just a quick little break. I'm happy. I get good frames. I'm getting, for me, recording this game, which is a very heavy game on my computer, I'm getting 21 frames, which some of you may be like, oh, that's nothing. It's pretty good compared to some of the other stuff that I get when I play other games. When I do this, I get 60 frames, so this is awesome. So it is almost out of the atmosphere. And, okay, we are out of the atmosphere now, but we are going to try to keep going to 100 meters high as our orbit. That's a nice, even, level orbit. You can see it's relatively flat, which is good. So it's going to start climbing up even higher now because we're out of the atmosphere completely. We can throttle down even more to save our fuel. This can go up slow, and we'll cut it at about 110. That's a nice, even place to stop. So we'll wait 9, 10. Alright. I just cut the engines using the X key. I can bring up the Navball here, and I can slowly make my way to Prograde. The rocket is very clumsy and cumbersome when it's in this big thing. When I'm not burning my engines, it is extremely hard to control. So I will shift over to Prograde, this right here, slowly. You can see me when I press the arrow keys, or the WSAD keys, the SAS turns on and off. This is our resources, liquid fuel, blah blah blah, electric charge, that's all for SAS. And if I had landing legs and lights, and yeah, everything else. We're going to pivot slightly. Alright, that's good. We're going to hopefully stop. Alright. Set our SAS there. And we are 59 seconds away. When we get within about 25 seconds, we're going to burn Prograde, so I'm already set there. I would fast forward, but we are already almost there, so there's no point in really fast forwarding because I'm going to miss it like I usually do because I don't pay attention. So we're going to wait another about 15 seconds, and then we're going to burn. The goal is to kind of stay behind your apoapsis as you burn. And we're going to burn full throttle, and we're going to have to switch over at the beginning to make sure that we separate our stage because it's about to go. Stage 1, we're good now. And now we can easily switch over to Prograde, and we can check our progress using the map key. And you can see your apoapsis is slowly going down, but we're still ahead of it. And you'll see eventually the seconds will start to go back up eventually when we reach a far enough. So you can see it's slowing down the time. Usually it's not ticking like it was before. And you can see our path. We're on a suborbital trajectory currently, which means we're going to land back on the Earth, and we're not in orbit. It's slowly moving out. And eventually you'll see a PE on the other side, which means periapsis, which is the opposite of the apoapsis. And that's the gist of the whole game. You can see we're stuck at 6 seconds, and it should start going back up. 7, yep, okay. Periapsis, watch this. Hopefully we get a good orbit, solid orbit here. And we're going to cut it at right there. 106, 114, not too bad, but we want to change it and make it even. So we're going to, oh, that's SAS. We're going to shift over and fast forward and stop. Make our way back over to Prograde. See this, and a really good orbit is within 1,000 meters. So we're going to try to stop the rocket from going too far and come back. Alright, and we will burn at 30 seconds. It's going to be a light burn. Actually, we're going to burn closer this time because it's so fiddly diddly. We're going to burn a bit closer to try to get these more accurate. For some reason, it's spazzing out. I'm not sure why. It does that occasionally. We're going to wait till we're about 8 seconds away. So 10 seconds. The video is almost over, so if you enjoyed the video, please like. If you want to see more Kerbal Space Program or Minecraft, subscribe. And, ooh, we were closer that time. Alright, let's move our rocket over a little bit more. And we'll speed it up. And we will burn just slightly. 14, 15. Alright, that's close enough for me. It's going crazy. We should probably stop. What the heck? That's weird. Alright. Stop going crazy. Alright. Well, you can see we still have a very large portion of our rocket left. And we might as well warp. First, let's deploy the solar panels. And I know there's action keys. I'll figure that out for next episode. We'll deploy those. And there is no sun, so they're currently not taking in anything. So we're going to warp over to the bright side of the Earth, or Kerbin rather. And we'll take a break right here. It's nice and bright. We're recharging, all set. And we'll have our lovely astronaut Jebediah over here. Oh, no. Alright, we'll have our lovely astronaut Jebediah. First, we'll take a look at what it looks like inside the spacecraft. And we'll roll back over to the Earth. Alright, we can't see the Earth. So, we'll get back out of that. Oh, that's why. Okay. We're not tilted the right way. So then we'll do an EVA and have our Kerbal walk in space. Congratulations, Jebediah. Go down the ladder. I could make him jump off and then get back on using his jetpack, but I don't really want to. Because it's hard to get him back on. Alright, buddy, climb back up into the plane here, into the rocket. Alright, that is going to be the end of this episode. Next episode, I will deorbit this rocket, and we will go from there. So it's going to be a two-part tutorial on the game, and then we will jump right into, you know what, we're just going to jump right into career mode. So that's it for this episode, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you now understand Kerbal Space Program a bit better. I did my best. If not, go watch some other tutorial video. I know I can be a little bit lackluster when it comes to explaining things sometimes, but this has been the Occasional Gamer. What did I say last episode? Was it enjoy your day? Or was that in the second episode? I don't remember. Just have a fun day. And I'll see you next episode, everybody.